Hello everybody and welcome to Termas de Río Hondo. We are live from Argentina. Welcome everybody to race number 1 of TCR South America. In a freezing morning in Argentina, 6 Celsius degrees is the temperature. That means 42 Fahrenheit degrees. The temperature on track is extremely low, also 11 Celsius degrees. That means 51 Fahrenheit degrees. Early in the morning, it's 9 a.m. and we're heading to race number 1. As the cars are slowly heading into the grid, here is our pole sitter setting his first pole position in the series, Nelson Piquet Jr. The 39-year-old from Brazil. Has scored himself his first pole position in the series. Here are the cars lining up on the grid in a 1-2 for Honda YPF Racing, with this man in second, Leonel Pernía, the very experienced driver from Argentina, who, being 49 years old, he's turning 50 later this year in September, is still at his peak of performance after having retired from professional football or amateur football in his late 20s. We had on screen Rafael Reis, the driver from W2 Pro GP, who qualified in 4th row. He's starting in 7th place. We have Thiago Pernía starting from the back of the grid after an engine swap he did yesterday after struggling with some performance. As we're awaiting in these empty spots, we'll have Pedro Cardoso, the reigning champion of the series. As we said, it's a freezing morning in Argentina. 43 Fahrenheit degrees, 6 Celsius degrees, the air temperature, 11 Celsius degrees, 51 Fahrenheit. This means we will have a very struggling race for the tires and the car's temperatures. This is our reigning champion, Pedro Cardoso, the 25-year-old from Brazil.
Muy buenos días, buen día a los amigos de Brasil. Aquí estamos en la grilla de partida de esta nueva carrera del TCR South America Banco BRB en el autódromo de Termas de Río Hondo en la provincia de Santiago del Estero. Aquí finaliza la etapa argentina. Próximamente estará visitando Uruguay y después Brasil para finalizar el campeonato 2025. A mis espaldas, Nelson Piquet Jr., quien va a largar en la primera posición en la carrera número 1. Vamos a intentar hablar con el poleman que está charlando en este momento con Sebastián Martino, el jefe del equipo Honda YPF Racing. Las últimas indicaciones de cara a lo que va a ser la carrera. Aprovecho para hablar con Nelsinho. Nelson, buen día, importante, ¿no? Esta largada para mantener la primera posición y buscar la primera victoria en el TCR.
I guess you'll try to get a good start and look for your first win.
Só fazer uma largada boa e tocar uma corrida. Sim, concentrar para dar tudo certo aqui.
mejor de salud, mejor físicamente con respecto a
Are
ayer.
you feeling better after
Mucho mejor,
not feeling
gracias.
so well yesterday?
Bueno, muchas gracias. Ahí lo escuchábamos a
pretty
Nelson
much,
Piquet
pretty better,
Jr.
thank
que,
you.
como dijimos, va a
Said
estar
Nelson
largando
Piquet
en la
Jr.,
primera posición.
who
Vamos a
said that
intentar ahora
his
hablar
goal
con
for
Leo
today is to have a
Pernía,
good
su
start and
compañero
then
de equipo y
being available
quien se
to handle
encuentra primero en el campeonato. Vamos a pedir a
the
ver si
rest
podemos
of the pressure
acá
of the race.
abrir la puerta para hablar justamente con Leo, que va a largar en la segunda posición. Leo, la intención es respetar al compañero de equipo, vamos a buscar la punta ya de entrada.
No, obviamente vamos a buscar la punta, pero las
We'll
dos
try to get
cosas,
the first place,
no sé si con respeto es la palabra, sino con
but we
trabajo
will
en
have to
equipo,
respect each
sabiendo
other.
que,
We'll
que
have
la
to do
maniobra
a
tiene que ser
teamwork.
segura. Y
We
además
have to
también teniendo en cuenta
try any
que
move.
inmediatamente por detrás de nosotros está el rival
being
directo
safe.
del campeonato.
And
Perfecto,
we
la
have to
palabra
know
de
that
Leo Pernía.
right behind
Ahora
us
sí nos
is
disponemos a lo que va a
the
ser la
standings
largada de
leader
esta
and
carrera
our
número uno
rival,
aquí en
not the
Termas de
standings
Río
leader,
Hondo.
our rival in the standings for the title said Leonel Pernía. Clearly the focus is
puedo sacar a ala y darle divergencia.
pushing,
Se lo puedo hacer.
but not
Sí,
anything
el ala
else.
no se la saque. El ala no, que nos ayuda a frenar, ¿viste? Y en la recta no perdemos nada. Yo le daría por otro lado.
Diego Pernía.
Un poquito de divergencia para que te ayude. Para lo rápido lo dejamos bien firme. No la toca.
Diego Pernía speaking about having some last-minute adjustments in his suspension. He said, don't touch the wings. We'll need them for the braking. The engine offered to do a little tweak in the camber. As we saw a mechanic working on the rear right suspension. That was the dialogue, the conversation Diego Pernía had with his engineer on the grid. As now the engines are starting. The formation lap will start in a minute, and we'll have a look at the starting grid for sure.
Que primero va a caminar el chabón, para un lado y para el otro, y después levanta la bandera. Cuando la levanta me avisa.
Let me know when the guy raises the flag, said Leonel Pernía to his engineer, speaking about the starting procedure as the formation lap is on. You will see every single car going from side to warm up the tires as much as it's possible, considering, as we said, we have freezing temperatures, 6 Celsius degrees. If we had clouds in the sky, would be very close to having snow falling on the track. Nelson Piquet Jr. is on pole position ahead of his teammates, Leonel Pernía. Then we have Pedro Cardoso starting in third for PMO Racing. Fabian Gianantuoni is in fourth for Palladini Racing with the Best Lincoln Co. Third row opened with Mariano Pernía from Honda YPF with the Civic, followed by Juan Angel Rosso with another Lincoln Co. from Palladini Racing, right behind his teammate Gianantuoni. On the line of the track, Rafael Racing 7th with the Best Cupra, followed by Luis Ramirez, the driver from Panama, in 8th place with another Peugeot of PMO Racing. Gennaro Rasetto, one of the teammates of Ramirez and Cardoso, in 9th followed by Fabrizio Pezzini in 10th place. Behind is Ezequiel Bastidas, switching to a Toyota, dropping this Audi. In 11th, Adrian Chiriano leading the TCR Trophy Pack on 12th place, ahead of Enzo Gianfrati from Port Hack Racing, followed by Maria Nienkotter in 14th and 15th, and last, serving a penalty after a really struggling qualifying for him, is Thiago Pernía from Honda YPF Racing, who had an engine swap and is demoted to the back of the grid. Here's Leonel Pernía in second. We're getting ready for race number 1. And here are the cars coming up onto the grid for race number 1. You'll have car number 33 on the left of your screens, Nelson Piquet Jr. On the right side of the screen, you'll have his teammates, Leonel Pernía, the standings leader. Here's Mariano Pernía stopping in the 5th spot on the grid as we fly with our drone through the grid. Thiago Pernía takes his position in the back. Fabrizio Pezzini heading into the pit lane with some trouble starting from P10. And now we'll have the green flag waving behind. The lights will go out and we go racing in Termas de Río Hondo. Piquet stops on the grid, both Pernía too. Both front row cars stop on the grid as Cardoso heads into the lead. There's a big gap in the middle of the pack as we have now Piquet in second, Rafael Reyes trying to go through second place on the outside as Pedro Cardoso dives into the lead comfortably. Mariano Pernía is in 4th ahead of Fabian Gianantoni, who gets 5th position. Reyes on the inside line trying to go through to second position. A dreadful start for both Hondas in the front row. Piquet collapsing and now recovering to second, but Pernía losing many positions. Oh, Rasetto almost loses it as he goes out of turn 3, and now we go full throttle on the straight in Termas de Río Hondo. And it's a massive start by Pedro Cardoso, taking a good advantage of the misfortune of the front row, who really struggled in the starts and have had dreadful results. Quite wide was Mariano Pernía, losing a few positions as the cars go now through to turn number 6, and now we get going with the full pack on track. Cardoso leading the way to turn number 7 and 8. Piquet is cleared behind. We have a Lincoln going 3rd place. It's Fabian Gianantoni ahead of Rafael Reyes and Rosso in 5th. All the cars running in this opening lap of race number 1 in TCR South America. Going through turn 9 and 10. Now Luis Ramirez, the Panamanian driver, also battling for positions in the top 10. We'll see what happened with Pezzini, if he could start the race or not. Lock up, big lock up by Thiago Pernía, who already climbed up many positions. As we go through with Rosso. Santiago Pernía already in 6th position. He made up 9 places in the opening lap, apart from what happened to Fabrizio Pezzini. So he won 8 places on track. It seems the whole pack collapsed ahead of him, and he managed to win through and has done a massive improvement, as now Leonel Pernía was with some contact with Gennaro Rasetto as they go through in turn number 2 and 3. Cardoso 0.3 of a second clear from Nelson Piquet Jr., who is now attacking on the outside. He will brake and see if he can get the lead of the race. Now trying to go through to the inside. Cardoso defends well the line. These two had many contacts throughout in the year, so Fabian Gianantoni should be watching closely the action for first place, as Cardoso now heads into turn number 6. Piquet on the outside trying to make a diving move. Nelson Piquet Jr. now comes out a bit short in the line, as Cardoso was a bit wider as they head into turn number 8. Piquet will go for the inside. Yes, he does. He can't. He doesn't have the margin, but still is chasing Pedro Cardoso for the lead of the race in lap number 2. As we see now the battle in the back of the pack with Bastidas, Chiriano and Ninkotter in the last positions. Now Juan Angel Rosso in 5th place. Let's go on board with Cardoso. Goes in the inside line. Second lap is closed now. The gap will be really short. 0.2 of a second. Piquet is right on the tail of Pedro Cardoso. Gianantoni comfortable in 3rd place, ahead of Rafael Reis, and Juan Angel Rosso in 5th place, catching up. Very good points for Palladini Racing. Still Piquet now giving a brake to his car before attacking again. The fastest lap was set by Thiago Pernía, and it was Leonel Pernía in the last lap, who is in 7th place, recovering after his really bad start of the race. Got 20 minutes remaining. Let's watch the replay. Look at the front row. Both Pernía and Piquet had really dreadful starts. Thiago Pernía manages already to win many places. This is the onboard with Rafael Reis. There's our drone starting. And Piquet is into the lead and goes wide. Cardoso wants to recover the lead of the race. In the replay, we had the action for the lead of the race, and now Cardoso is back in first, but Piquet managed to catch the lead for seconds, and Rafael Reis is also attacking Gianantoni for 3rd. Big action in Termas de Río Hondo in race 1 in this really cold morning, as Cardoso is still leading the race. Now it's Fabian Gianantoni in a 5th position. In 3rd position ahead of Reis and Rosso, who is in 5th. And now Piquet attacking again Pedro Cardoso. This can be a very good fight, but these two, trust me, these two can give us loads of action on track. Piquet now having a look at the inside, but still Cardoso protecting the lead of the race. Gianantoni still holding on to 3rd place from Rafael Reis. Piquet having a look at the inside, also into turn number 2. Let's go on board with Rafael Reis in 4th place. Over 200 kilometers per hour as Cardoso drags Piquet to the inside. Reis wants to have a bigger top speed and see if he can overtake Gianantoni, but here is Piquet attacking once again, trying to get through the inside into turn number 5 and 6. Cardoso holding on to the lead, but Piquet is attacking and seems to be a little bit higher in car's performance than Pedro Cardoso, who defends well in the inside into turn number 6. Let's go on board. Now it's Reis attacking. Reis is also very close to overtaking Gianantoni. Piquet seems to have huge potential in his car. There's Nelson Piquet Jr. on the outside. Cardoso leading the race in the Peugeot. As now we have Cardoso still leading, but Piquet, it's now right on him. Also less than 0.2 of a second. Among the third and fourth place, Rosso protecting the rest of the pack from heading on to race in Gian Antonio. This is Sebastián Martino, team director and owner of Honda YPF Racing. And look at the gap, very, very tight between Cardoso and Piquet. You see if Piquet can catch a good drag. Gian Antonio arrives in third, but also Race is having a look at third position. Going from side to side. Piquet will break now once again in the outside and see if he can match the line and dive into the inside in the exit of the turn, so he can have a better line for the upcoming corner. There is Piquet outside of turn number 4, trying to go through now once again in the outside, but Cardoso will resist on the inside into turn 6, and this is a marvelous battle for the lead of the race between the two Brazilians, the reigning champion and one of the title contenders, Nelson Piquet Jr. once again changing the lines out of turn number 7. Will he break into the inside in turn 8? No, he doesn't. He cannot. And Cardoso resists. Gian Antonio also under huge pressure from Rafael Reis for a third position in this really entertaining race we're having in Termas de Río Hondo as we go midway through it. Race number 1. Gian Antonio still holding on to third place, but Rafael Reis wants to go in every single turn of the track. And attacking as Piquet once again will put loads of pressure. Let's see if he can try anything else now into turn 1 as they complete one more lap. Termas de Río Hondo in this very, very cold morning. 5 laps completed. And Piquet is heading into turn 1 following Cardoso once again. Last lap was 1:49.0 for both. Less than 1/10 of a second. 1:49.2 was Gian Antonio, 1:49.3 set by Rafael Reis. But the quickest driver on track in this lap was Santiago del Estero. He did 1:48.7. Let's have a look at the onboard of Rosso. Rosso going wide. Some problems as Juan Angel Rosso has collapsed in the pack. Now Santiago Pernía is up into 5th place, followed by Leonel Pernía and Mariano in 7th. Mariano Pernía, Ramirez, Raceto, and Bastidas rounding off the top 10. As Rafael Reis goes to the inside of Gian Antonio and now catches 3rd position from the Lincoln Co. Now finally the Cupra heads into the podium. We have 4 different brands in the top 4 of the race, but now we have Rafael Reis in 3rd position as it's over for Juan Angel Rosso. We'll try to see what happened with him. Cardoso into the last turn, turn number 11 and 12, coming out onto the main straights in Termas de Río Hondo. We are enjoying race number 1 in this 4th event of TCR South America in 2025. My name is Francisco Aure. We are honored to have your company at the other side of the screen, no matter where you are in the world. The best racing series in South America, one of the top tires in South America. As we have Cardoso still holding behind Nelson Piquet Jr. in this very, very entertaining race number 1. Reis managed to be safe in 3rd. Piquet once again, as he tried many laps ago, going through on the outside. Will Cardoso resist on the inside? Piquet wants to hold on to and have the better line for the next turn, but Cardoso resists and defends very well once again out of turn number 4 as they go through turn number 5 and breaking into turn 6. Once again, Cardoso on the inside, Piquet on the outside. Piquet does not lose his temper. as they go through to turn number 7, getting on to now turn 8. Let's see if Piquet can try once again. He's going to try to break into the inside once. Here is now Cardoso. Let's go on board with him, leading the race. Race up into third ahead of Gian Antoni. Gennaro Rasetto beats Ramirez for 8th place. And Rasetto now locking up his brakes. Once again, we have loads of fog now in some parts of the track. Piquet is still leading the race. Piquet is still chasing for the lead of Cardoso, apologies. And now Cardoso resisting, but under huge pressure. We'll have to see if Rafael Reyes can manage to approach. He was half a second quicker than Pedro Cardoso in the last lap. The gap is 2.5 seconds. And once again, Piquet drags Cardoso. And now brakes on the outside. Cardoso trying to resist. Cardoso with some movement in the car after in the braking, but still resisting into the lead. And now Piquet is slowly having better support in his car, as Cardoso seems to have some trouble in that turn. And now Piquet takes the inside line, and he will go through into the lead. Nelson Piquet Jr. brakes and catches the lead of the race in turn number 6. Cardoso resists in the outside as they go through turn number 7, and this will lead Cardoso once again into the main line for turn number 8. In the inside, Cardoso and Piquet side to side, and this is a wonderful battle in Termas de Río Hondo. Piquet is sent off the track. He rejoins, and Cardoso is back in the lead of the race. Amazing battle we're having in Termas de Río Hondo between these two of the best performers throughout the weekend, are giving us a huge battle for the lead. Piquet once again in the outside in turn number 11 and 12 as they head into the main straights. Amazing race in Termas de Río Hondo, and Rafael Reyes wants to take advantage to reduce the gap to the lead and see if he can join the battle, as they are now closing lap number 8 in Termas de Río Hondo, 0.3 of a second, and it's now 1.3 of gap from Piquet Jr. to Rafael Reyes. These two will have another one joining them in the battle if they keep on battling as they are. As we see Federico Punteri, the president of the series, one of the main promoters of TCR South America. Here Cardoso behind Nelson Piquet Jr. And look how Cardoso managed to be a little bit quicker in lap number 6, but then lost in lap number 7. Very tiny differences as Piquet once again braking into the outside ahead of Pedro Cardoso. It's clean air, so Cardoso should take a good advantage of that. But still, Piquet now lining up, matching the line of the car, and Cardoso will break in the inside. Piquet battling once again. Piquet going through to the outside. Once again, Piquet leading us. Look how Rafael Reyes is joining the battle. Let's go on board with him in third. And now we have the top 4 lining up in very close positions. As now Leonel Pernía moves up into 5th place. And look, now we have all the cars within a second of gap. The top 4 is very close, and this can give us another race in these last 8 minutes. This is how the championship would look like. Cardoso reducing a little bit, capping the gap to Leonel Pernía, who is now here in 5th place behind his son Tiago Pernía, and behind Leonel Pernía and Tiago is Mariano Pernía, who's old brother of Leonel Pernía, and therefore is the uncle of Thiago, as now the line of cars is getting longer and longer. Piquet now very close in the battle. Now focusing more in defending from Rafael Reyes, who wants to have a look for second place. The Cupra wants to win the race also. Cardoso will try possibly to slow down a bit Piquet so he gets attacked by Rafael Reyes. Now look at Piquet under huge pressure from Reyes and Gianantuoni. Here we have this great camera on turn number 8, 9, and now turn number 10. Here are the cars approaching into turn 11 now. Let's go on board with Reyes. Once again leading the race. Leonel Pernía heads into the inside line, possibly to get better air in his car. But look at the top 5 now. Collapsed. Let's see what the
Bien, Pedro tuvo ritmo, y lo bueno que han 5 vueltas, ahí se le vino a los de atrás, a Piquet, eso nos puede ayudar.
Good pace, Pedro. We are in the last 5 laps. And everybody behind. Piquet is on him. Good job. His instruction of his engineer. It's also Nelson Piquet Jr. might be trying to slow down Reyes, so Leonel Pernía can try to catch them. We'll have to see if Leonel Pernía is able to battle with Fabián Gianantuoni and Rafael Reyes, with a little help from his teammate Piquet. Oh, Reyes goes a bit wide, touching the grass, and Gianantuoni will go through. No, he doesn't. Just looking really keen on trying to have a go at third place from Rafael Reyes. The third place that he had earlier in the race. Bastidas and Enzo Gianfrati leading here. Gianfrati leading TCR trophy ahead of Chiriano Nienkotter. Ezequiel Bastidas firmly in the top 10 of the race. Pedro Cardoso ahead of Piquet Jr. Now Piquet has had to put a stop in his attempts for a few laps after being caught by Reyes and Gianantuoni. But behind them is the standings leader Leonel Pernía. Hector Farina, the director of the circuits. We have now Fabrizio Pesini, who's still racing but 5 laps down. That's why he's not visible. Here is Rafael Reyes. Once again, Pernía leading the standings in the championship. He's in 5th place. Gianantuoni logs up a bit his brakes. No, Piquet, possibly after taking a little breath, will go for final attacks. This is a Gianantuoni outpacing race in the last 2 laps, but Pernía is also behind him. Luis Cardoso on board. Fine driving by Pedro Cardoso as he once again heads into turn number 11.
3 giri Nelson, dai che possiamo, sei più veloce di lui.
His engineer speaking in Italian to Nelsinho Piquet, saying go, you are being quicker. As Race survives in 3rd place ahead of Gianantonio Leonel Pernía. Leonel Pernía with the 40 kilos of compensation weight in his car, suffering a bit, but still managed to score pole position. Pedro Cardoso leading the race as we will head into the last lap. As soon as we cross the line, we are now in the second last lap. This is turn number 6 and 7 as the clock will tick down to 0 shortly. There it is. Now Cardoso getting into the last turn of the track, and he will open the last lap of the race. Piquet breaks a little bit long, and possibly there was gone his attempts. Last lap of the race now starting in Termas de Río Hondo. Pedro Cardoso leading as he did throughout all the race from Nelson Piquet. Rafael Reyes in 3rd, trying to give another podium to the Cupra and to W2 Pro GP. Now Gianantonio attacking for Reyes. Attacking Reyes for 3rd place as they go through into the straight out of turn number 2 and 3. But now Cardoso seems to be a bit safer. Gianantonio possibly having a look at the inside for a final attempt on Reyes. This is the leader of the race since the very first moment, Pedro Cardoso. Nelsinho Piquet is now safe in 2nd, but he has let Pedro Cardoso go. Cardoso going through to turn number 9 and 10 now, as they will head into the last turns. Reyes is out! Reyes is out! Rafael Reyes is out! He has spun off or with some kind of vision his car. Gianantonio back in third in the podium. Leonel Pernía moving up to fourth position. And here is Cardoso to take the checker flag. Pedro Cardoso wins race number 1 in Termas de Río Hondo. A fantastic race we have enjoyed in this early morning, as Gianantonio completes the podium, followed by Leonel Pernía, Thiago Pernía, and Mariano Pernía in 6th. You can listen Cardoso celebrating. Rafael Reis retired, as he has finished behind, or he has dropped behind the top 10. Amazing race we have seen in Termas de Río Hondo. Fantastic battle. Here is Enzo Gianfratti winning TCR trophy. We've had an amazing drive in from the top 2 on the podium. Did an amazing job. It was fantastic driving by both Cardoso and Piquets. Mauricio Pesini managed to drive the whole race, but 5 laps down, as Rafael Reis struggled and arrived. Here is the final standings. Cardoso won ahead of Piquet Jr. and Gianantonio, who completed the podium. Then Leonel, Thiago, and Mariano Pernía from 4th to 6th. Raceto in 7th, Ramirez in 8th, Bastidas in 9th, and the TCR trophy winner Enzo Gianfratti in 10th place. Then Chiriano and Nien Cotter completing TCR trophy podium. Rafael Reis finishing 13th. Fabrizio Pesini completed the race 5 laps down. Here is our winner, Pedro Cardoso, arriving. Pedro Cardoso being congratulated by some members of the teams. Pedro Cardoso's girlfriend we are heading into
Nelson
the podium, let's hear from
en la
Piqué Jr.
segunda posición, un problema en la largada, ¿no? Después se hizo complicado
problem in
pelear
the
ahí con
starts.
Pedro Cardoso la primera posición.
Then you had to battle with Cardoso.
Na largada, não sei, os procedimentos estão mudando muito, não
Start
do nosso
procedures
coach,
are
mas
changing a
pela
bit.
carreira. Pensava que ia ter uma placa de 5, como haviam dito, enfim. Claro
I
que
thought there
a
would be
largada
some
foi erro nosso. Na prova,
other
os
starting
carros são muito
procedure.
distintos, são muito diferentes.
We've had a, some,
Nas partes de
we've had a mistake.
miolo, o Peugeot ele é muito mais leve, tem uma arrancada muito melhor. Nossa única chance de ultrapassar é realmente no final das retas.
This is Peugeot
E
was
às vezes que eu consegui botar
starting
do
really
lado, fui empurrado um pouco para fora, mas enfim.
We tried a lot in many
Vamos para a
breaking
próxima
points.
tentar fazer melhor.
Muchas gracias. La palabra de Nelson Piquet
try to do
Jr.
the
que
best
finalizó
next time,
en la
said
segunda posición. Vamos a
Nelson
hablar ahora
Piquet
con el
Jr.
ganador de la carrera, Pedro
Let's hear now
Cardoso,
from
que
the
me va a
winner, Pedro
contestar en
Cardoso.
portugués. Pedro, increíble carrera, aprovechaste la largada
Pedro,
y
an
después
amazing race.
lo que fue
You've,
defenderse de
taken
Nelson, que
advantage from the
atacó
start and
muchísimo,
then you
pero
had
que
to
bueno,
defend from Piquet, who
pudiste
attacked a
mantener la
lot.
primera posición.
But you managed to keep
Sim,
on
uma carreira
first.
sensacional. Acho
An amazing
que
race.
tá claro que os Hondas estão bem mais rápidos. Eles tinham 4, 5 carros
I
na
think it's
reta da
clear
gente.
that Hondas are quicker
Mas,
than us.
graças a Deus, eu consegui fazer um bom management dos pneus.
Thankfully, I
A largada foi perfeita, era o meu
managed
plano.
my tires very well.
Bom, deu para segurar ele. O importante é isso, é somar sempre. Estou muito feliz com a vitória, mas o importante
really
é
happy
sempre
with
terminar
the-
a corrida
with
o
the
mais na
win.
frente possível. E gostaria de agradecer ao meu patrocinador, o BRB, a equipe que me deu um carro sensacional,
all my
minha namorada, minha
sponsors,
família,
my
todo
team
mundo
who
que está
gave
torcendo
me a
aí.
great car,
E é isso, vamos para a
my
segunda corrida
girlfriend,
agora.
my family.
La palabra de Pedro Cardoso, el campeón de la categoría que ganó acá la carrera número 1 del TCR en Termas de Río Hondo.
Thanks very much to our pit reporter Mariano Colombo. We need the interviews of the top two as we are waiting for Fabián Gianantuoni also. Mariano also the presenter of the podium. Here is Gianantuoni, who finished in third.
También que suba lo más alto del podio. Fuerte el aplauso para todos los pilotos. Escuchamos ahora el himno de Brasil en honor
Now we'll
al
hear,
vencedor.
we'll listen to the Brazilian anthem.
Fuerte el aplauso para los vencedores. Invitamos también al podio a Damián Fineschi del PMO Racing como mejor equipo. Lo invitamos ahí también. Y ahora quien va a entregar el premio a los
Damián
vencedores
Fineschi will head
es
into
el
the
señor
podium also
Horacio
representing the winning team.
de DirecTV Ocasa, quien pasa justamente a entregar el premio a Fabián Gianantuoni, que finalizó en la
Prize being
tercera
handed for
posición. Fuerte el
Fabián
aplauso para
Gianantuoni.
Patito también. La carrera, la segunda posición, como habíamos mencionado, para Nelson Piquet Jr.
Nelson Piquet Jr. gets his trophy for second place also.
Ahora recibe Damián Fineschi el premio al mejor equipo de
Damián
esta
Fineschi
carrera.
for the winning team.
Llega el momento de que Pedro Cardoso, el actual campeón y el ganador de esta carrera, reciba el trofeo. Hermano de Horacio Ulla. Fuerte el aplauso para ellos.
Here is our podium ceremony.
Para registrar el momento, esta gran carrera que nos regalaron los pilotos. La primera en el autódromo del Termas y momento del champán de la celebración para los pilotos vencedores. La celebración
And
ahora sí
now
fuerte
it's
el
time for
aplauso
celebrating.
para regalar una carrera
Has Piquet
increíble.
left? As here we see the standings. 253 to 221 from Pernía to Cardoso. Piquet Jr. in third, racing fourth.
Para Nelson y para Pedro. Y ahora vamos a recibir a los pilotos de la Copa Trophy. Vamos a tener a Héctor Totti Fariña, director del autódromo aquí de Termas, entregando los premios, pero antes recibimos en la tercera posición a María Niemcotter desde Brasil, que sube al podio de
Now
la
here
Copa Trophy.
we'll see the TCR Trophy podium. María Niemcotter in third place.
Lo recibimos a Adrián Chiriano, a Chiri, que sube también
Adrián Chiriano
segundo escalón, y el vencedor
in second position.
Copa Trophy desde Brasil es Enzo Gianfrati, que sube a lo más alto del podio de Brasil. Lo invitamos a Totti.
And Enzo Gianfrati here, the winner.
Correspondiente, fuerte el aplauso para Totti también, que está entregando justamente
Héctor Farina, the director of the circuits, will hand the trophies
Adrián Chiriano en la
to our TCR Trophy podium sitters.
que vuelve a lo más alto del podio.
And Enzo Gianfrati here lifting the TCR Trophy.
También a que nos entregaron los pilotos de la Copa Trophy, siempre bien peleada la división aquí en el TCR Sudamérica Banco RB. Momento de la foto y también del champagne de la celebración en una gran carrera.
And now it's time for the champagne also.
Nos volvemos a encontrar con las primeras 10 posiciones con la grilla invertida. Se guardan el champagne, se lo van a tomar, me parece. No tomen mucho, por favor. Que
Champagne is being kept.
Nos reencontramos entonces a las 12 para la carrera.
And we will meet again in a bit more than 2 hours time. 12 p.m. Argentina time, 3 p.m. GMT time for race number 2 from Termas de Río Hondo, the last stop of TCR South America and Argentina in 2025. Thank you very much for being with us, and see you then.
El aplauso para ellos. Momento de la...
Welcome everybody again to Termas de Río Hondo. We are heading now into the last race of the weekend in TCR South America. This is Termas de Río Hondo, one of the most sophisticated tracks in South America, alongside Interlagos, alongside Buenos Aires, alongside Curitiba, and this is today's venue for race number 2 of TCR South America, following the early morning win of Pedro Cardoso in a freezing morning. As here we are flying through the circuits, about to get going with the race, with the inverted grid race. -14 degrees Celsius is the air temperature. -22 degrees Celsius is the track temperature. That means 57 Fahrenheit degrees on the air temperature and 71 on track. These are the 15 entrants we have for this weekend. Here's Pedro Cardoso. Who won race number 1. And here is Leonel Pernía, who scored a very good result today, reducing the damage after a very, very bad start. This is Juan Ángel Rosso. He's starting the race. from third row. Rafael Reis here, who stopped on track on the last lap after a good recovery that was leading him to be close to a podium. This is the reverse grid race. That means we have Fabrizio Pezzini starting the race on pole position ahead of Gennaro Rasetto and Luis Ramirez and Rafael Reis. This is Juan Angel Rosso in 5th place of the grid, ahead of Leonel Pernía, of Mariano Pernía.
Muy buenas tardes, boa tarde a los amigos de Brasil. Estamos a punto de largar la carrera número 2 aquí en el Gran Premio DirecTV Ocasa en el circuito de Termas de Río Hondo en Santiago del Estero. Lo tengo a Fabricio Pezzini a mi derecha, que va a largar desde la primera posición, desde la pole position. Vamos a hablar con el piloto de San Luis, que tiene la posibilidad de conseguir una nueva victoria. Sería la tercera en este campeonato. Fabri, ¿cómo estamos para esta carrera?
Looking for his third win in this series.
Bien,
How are you feeling for the race, Mauricio?
Very
well.
Un problema en la primera carrera que no nos dejó largar.
Had a little problem in the race number 1 that didn't allow to start.
Hicimos algunos cambios, esperemos
We've sorted it out. We took the chance to do some changes.
La palabra de Fabricio Pezzini, quien supo ser campeón en 2022 en la categoría. Vamos a ver.
So we're confident for the race, says Fabricio Pezzini, speaking with our pit reporter Mariano Colombo.
Segunda ubicación, una posibilidad
as we
importante
head now
de
into
subirse al podio por primera vez en el TCR.
Number 66 in second place on the grid is Gennaro Rasetto. One of the good positions to start the race.
Vamos a tratar de aguantar.
Yeah, actually, we will try to hold on to this position and resist. We'll try to overtake Fabricio.
Agarrándole la mano a la tracción delantera, pero bueno, vamos a tratar de estar ahí, hacer prolijo la carrera y terminar lo más adelante posible.
Try to do a tidy race and finish as high as we can.
Segunda posición, el Gran Premio DirecTV Ocasa.
Says Gennaro Rasetto, who's starting in second position.
Número 85 tiene que largar de box. Salió con el box cerrado.
And the stewards are warning that Thiago Pernía, car number 85, will have to start from pit lane. That was the instruction. The voice of the steward said car number 85 must start from pit lane, since the car has left the pit lane with the red light on. The pit lane was closed, so Thiago Pernía will have to move to the pit lane to start the race, as we watch Pedro Cardoso, who won in great shape race number 1 with a very fierce defense over Nelson Piquet Jr., who was putting huge pressure. Let's have a look at the starting grid. We have Fabrizio Pesini, who qualified in 10th, now taking the reverse grid pole position ahead of Gennaro Rasetto, who goes into 2nd place in the Peugeot, followed by his teammates, the driver from Panama, Luis Ramirez, in 3rd place, ahead of the Cupra of W2 Pro GP, driven by Rafael Reis. 5th place on the grid for Juan Angel Rosso from Palladini Racing with the Lincoln Co. ahead of the Honda of Mariano Pernía from Honda YPF Racing. The Civic behind him is Fabian Gianantuoni of Palladini Racing in another Lincoln Co., followed by the series champion and race 1 winner earlier this morning, Pedro Cardoso from Brazil. Leonel Pernía from Argentina, the standings leader from Honda YPF Racing in another Civic, takes the start in 9th place, ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr., who scored his first pole position yesterday afternoon. Thiago Pernía, just noticed, he will have to start from the pit lane in P11. That is now belonging to Ezequiel Bastidas, who switches the Audi for the Toyota in Palladini Racing. Adrian Chiriano starts in 13th spot on the grid, leading the TCR trophy field ahead of Enzo Gianfrati from Port Hack Racing and Marianin Kotter, who spun off heading into the grid for Cobra Racing. That's Marianin Kotter heading onto the track, starting from the pit lane after she had to be rescued from the gravel trap. Here are the cars heading into the main straights. These are turns 11 and 12. Here are the cars lining up on the grid in a second. We have Here is Thiago Pernía approaching to the pit lane for the start of the race, as he was ordered to do so. All the cars lining up on the grid, and we'll get going. In Termas de Río Hondo, Pesini on the left side of the screen in the black Cupra, Rasetto in the white and blue Peugeot on the right are now about to start the race. The green flag is waving in the background. TCR South America will start race number 2 in Termas de Río Hondo. Lights out, and we go racing in Termas de Río Hondo. Slow start by Pesini as Luis Ramirez will go into the lead, the driver from Panama. Rasetto wants to take 2nd place on the outside, and it could be a 1-2 for PMO Racing. Slight contact between Pesini and Rasetto in turn number 1 as Pesini survives in 2nd and will now go to overtake Ramirez if he can in the inside of the next turn after they go through turn 2. Oh, a car spun off, and it's Ramirez. Ramirez loses 1st place and goes off. Now Pesini in the inside will be back in the lead as Rasetto goes through the gravel trap, and it's a slight contact through the gravel by Rasetto, and Gianantuoni wants to go into 2nd place. He does, and Rosso wants to be in 3rd now. Rasetto will fall back to 4th position as the 2 Lincoln Co's are now behind the Cupra of Pesini, who leads the race as we break into turn number 5. In Termas de Río Hondo, we see the 2 cars coming from the pit lane in the background. Disaster for Luis Ramirez in the opening lap of the race, as he had inherited initially the lead of the race. And now it's Fabrizio Pesini resisting behind Gianantuoni, who will try to attack immediately. In third is Rosso. In fourth is Raceto. That's a slight battle between Bastidas in the blue Toyota against Nelson Piquet Jr. As cars are now heading through turn number 9 and 10. This is the battle for the lead. Pesini leading in the black Cupra. In the blue Lincoln Go, we have Fabian Gianantoni. Let's go on board with Rafael Reis. Reis was behind Luis Ramirez. Both lost a few places. Pesini leading the race after the first lap ahead of Gianantoni. Rosso, Raceto, Cardoso, and Mariano Pernía currently sitting in 6th place ahead of Leonel Pernía, Nelson Piquet Jr., Ezequiel Bastidas, and Rafael Reis rounding off the top 10. Look at Luis Ramirez. He fell down to 11th place. This is the replay. Raceto on his own. Went a bit wide. Oof. Hurting a bit the front of his Peugeot with that bouncing on the gravel. There you see the car going through the gravel. Bouncing a bit. And behind where Mariano encountered Santiago Pernía. This is Cardoso on the replay. In the inside was Reis. Look at Ramirez in front of him, spinning off. Losing all the momentum, and Cardoso taking through the advantage. Mariano Pernía now battling with Cardoso. Pernía, who is a teammate and brother of Cardoso's big rival, Leonel Pernía. Let's go on board. Cardoso resisting, as now Leonel Pernía is ahead of him. Mariano Pernía did the job, the dirty job, to hold on Cardoso. And now Leonel Pernía is ahead of Cardoso. This is a master class from Honda YPF Racing, using all cars against Cardoso. Pretty much it's very big teamwork, as now Mariano Pernía is also ahead of Cardoso. Nelson Piquet Jr. will be also overtaking Cardoso if he can, sooner than later. There is Fabrizio Pesini trying to lead the race and pull away from Fabian Gianantoni. There it is. Now Rafael Reis. That's Cardoso now losing terrain with Nelson Piquet Jr. It's a very tough race for the series champion as far as now. Here are the cars. Cardoso now ahead of Rafael Reis. Pesini in first, Gianantoni in second, Rosso in third, Raceto in fourth, Leonel Pernía in fifth. Gianantoni puts loads of pressure on Pesini. Now Reis overtaking, resisting against Ezequiel Bastidas. Here is the overtaking attempts by Gianantoni over Fabrizio Pesini. The Argentinians occupying the top 5. The first Brazilian driver on the standings right now is Nelson Piquet Jr. in 7th place. There you have Gianantoni trying to overtake Fabrizio Pesini, trying to catch a good top speed on the straights. Ezequiel Bastidas here in 10th place ahead of Luis Ramirez. here are the top 3. Pecini brakes into turn number 5, then turn 6 to the left side here, where they are now heading to. Pecini, Gianantonio, and Rosso, the top 3. Very, very low differences, very short gaps between all. That was Cynthia, the wife of Fabricio Pecini. Leonel Pernía now overtakes Raceto for 4th place. There he is, going through the Peugeot. Now, there is Pecini leading ahead of Gianantonio, 2/10 of a second. The fastest lap of the race belongs to Thiago Pernía, who is 9 seconds behind the leaders. That's the replay of Luis Ramirez running wide and losing many positions. Gianantonio attacking Pecini. All rivals in the Argentinian touring cars for many, many years. Also is in 3rd place, taking care of his teammates in case any approach of Leonel Pernía shows up in the following laps. Pernía now has Raceto and Mariano Pernía going in the inside, trying to overtake Gennaro Raceto for 5th place. He does, and there's Nelson Piquet Jr. also trying to attack, but Raceto will try to recover 5th place from the hands of Mariano Pernía. He will have the inside line in the next turn. It's the break-in of turn number 7 for the Peugeot. And there he is, locking up the brakes. Slight contact with Pernía, but inside is Nelson Piquet Jr. He could be a 3 wide into turn number 9. Mariano Pernía was trying to brake, and in the end Raceto survives. Piquet and Pernía side by side, and Rafael Reis wants to join the battle. Let's go on board with him. Rafael Reis coming out a bit better into the main straight, but Pernía closes the door. Mariano Pernía defending as he did for ages in the Spanish national team of football, and in his bright years as a footballer in Atlético Madrid and Getafe in Spain. On board with Pedro Cardoso, right now in 9th place. Pressure on Fabricio Pecini's wife. Mariano Pernía battling with Rafael Reis, surviving ahead, but Reis wants to battle. Let's go on board with Cardoso. Reis resisting against Cardoso. Very, very tight battle. Behind them is Ezequiel Bastidas. Now Bastidas going into the inside. But Cardoso closes the line. Behind them is Luis Ramirez, who took turn 1 in the lead of the race in the first lap, but then collapsed after spinning. Now race side by side with Mariano Pernía, battling for 7th position. Race breaking into the outside. Pernía resisting in 7th place. As we are about to reach the midpoint on the race, we still have 17 minutes left. Race is now ahead of Mariano Pernía, finally getting 7th place. But Mariano Pernía is not easy to overtake and will counterattack sooner than later. This is Pedro Cardoso, right now in 9th place, with a whole bunch of cars ahead of him. Between him and his title rival, Leonel Pernía. There's Mariano Pernía. Down to 8th place now. Now Fabrizio Pesini seems to be a bit more comfortable in the lead of the race. Two Lincoln goes of Palladini Racing on the podium as far as now. There's a battle between Ciriano and Enzo Gianfratti, leading the TCR Trophy pack. $15 minutes left, plus 1 lap. Pesini leading comfortably across the middle point of the race. The gap is over a second now between him and Gian Antuoni. In 3rd is Juan Angel Rosso. Here's Sebastián Martino. Top 4 really separated. Leonel Pernía with the 40 kilos of compensation weights. board with Leonel Pernía in fourth. Fabrizio Pesini leading here, much more comfortable than a few laps before, as the gap is now getting close to 2 seconds of gap. 1.8 seconds. The last lap was 0.3 quicker than the second place driver. I'm talking about Fabian Gianantuoni. Pesini now holds the lap record. 148.43. Cardoso in 9th place ahead of Bastidas and Ramirez. This is Thiago Pernía. Here Adrian Ciriano and Enzo Gianfrati. Ciriano leading the way in TCR Trophy. As we here have the standings on screen, Leonel Pernía is now 45 points ahead of Pedro Cardoso as we head into Uruguay for the next 2 rounds. Oh, Rosso is stopping. Juan Angel Rosso is stopping on track. He lost 2 places. Let's see if he's in. The engine is really, really low. We have 1 less contender. Now Leonel Pernía heads into the podium of the race. Reis is now in 5th. Gennaro Rasetto is there in 6th position, but battling for 5th with Reis. Mariano Pernía in 7th, Cardoso in 8th, Bastidas in 9th, and Ramirez in 10th place. Something must have happened. I mean, something has happened with the car. Number 16, now Gianantuoni is the sole Link & Co in the podium. We'll have to see if that was a puncture or what. Gianantuoni in 5th place, in car number 5 in 2nd place, ahead of Leonel Pernía. Piquet Jr. resists in 4th, ahead of Reis and Rasetto. But Fabrizio Pesini is now over 2 seconds quicker than some of the cars on track. Let's see which is the gap now that he's crossing the line. 20 minutes completed, 2.1 seconds. Leonel Pernía in 3rd.
Vibra mucho el esfínter en la recta. Algo ha pasado. Sí, miramos ahora en la televisión, que parece mucho. Pero las gomas parece ok. Parece algo de esfínter.
I have a big vibration in my splitter on the straights, says Fabrizio Pesini. The team says it looks okay from our side. Some thrill, possibly, and yeah, the left hook of the splitter seems to be hanging, yes, and this could be trouble for Fabrizio Pesini. If the car resists, he will be fine, but if not, it could lead to trouble. The tires are seeming to be okay. Otherwise, this could be trouble for the race leader. You can see the left side of the bodywork is really shaking more and more. Gianantuoni is in 2nd, Leonel Pernía remains in 3rd, and Piquet Jr. in 4th. Rafael Reis now in 5th position. 8 minutes and a half remaining. This is our race leader, as there is a drive-through penalty for Rafael Reis. Let's see if we see any replay. Let's have a look at the replay of the starts. Pesini is still leading on 2 seconds, and the gap is stable in 2 seconds, so at least his pace doesn't seem to be affected by what we see on the left side of the bodywork. As you can see, it is shaking a lot, more and more, lap after lap. But if it remains in one piece, everything should be okay for him. 7 minutes remaining. It seems to be everlasting for Fabricio Pesini and W2 Pro GP, now more after what happened with Rafael Reis, that had to go through the pit lane and drop down to 9th position. Sector 1, Gian Antonio reduced the gap 2 tenths, another 10th in the second sector. Raceto is defending 5th place from Mariano Pernía, but Pernía is on the outside now, trying to overtake the Peugeot. Raceto will break in the inside, and Pernía tries to dive in, but still Raceto manages to resist. And now goes a bit wide. I think he went to the pit lane. No, he ran wide and lost the position to Mariano Pernía. And also with Cardoso. And also with Ezequiel Bastidas. Luis Ramirez seems to be slowly. Yeah, Raceto and Bastidas here battling for a position. Cars are side by side. Now battling for 7th and 8th. Luis Ramirez has stopped on track apparently.
Se la doy para que vaya a buscarlo al segundo, pero si no lo pasa que me la devuelva en la última vuelta. Si no peleamos, como vos quieras.
I can let him by if he goes to catch Gian Antonio and then gives the position back. If not, we'll fight. As you wish, said Leonel Pernía to his engineer. But the pace seems to be very even between the two cars. And Gian Antonio doesn't make sense, I would say, from our perspective. Ezequiel Bastidas here withstanding the battle with Gennaro Raceto, surviving in 7th place. Pedro Cardoso has to battle with Mariano Pernía. Raceto trying to help his teammate as much as he can. Bastidas is there on the battle. Now the gap is increasing to 41 points. This is the new gap as far as now with these results between Leonel Pernía and Pedro Cardoso in 1st and 2nd place of the standings. race leader Fabrizio Pesini. The gap seems to be stable in 1.5 seconds from Pesini to Gianantuoni. Gianantuoni doesn't seem to have so much pace to go for the lead. And it's only now reducing to less than a second. There's Juan Angel Rosso next to him. And the yellow jacket is his father, Victor, former British Formula 4 driver, a Formula 3 driver in England. Had a long spell as a driver in that side, in that part of the world. Victor Rosso. Also worried as Gianantuoni tries to go for the lead of the race, and the front side, the front body work of Pesini.
Está cada vez peor, pero vamos a tentar segurar o más.
It's looking worse, but we'll try to secure the win. Is the instruction from the pit lane to Fabrizio Pesini. Yes, it is looking worse and worse. Something got loose for sure inside. But of course, Pesini has no other choice rather than trying to survive and win the race. The only choice is obvious. He has to resist. Look at his wife suffering as the front splitter is shaking a lot. Let's see in what shape this car arrives as Fabrizio Pesini is about to open the second last lap. We are entering the final 2 laps of this race. Last 2 laps of the race, and the gap is now 0.6 seconds. Leonel Pernía is ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr., who will not bother. The nerves in the garages are really, really intense. And here's the Cupra, the black Cupra of Fabrizio Pesini. The bodywork is shaking more and more, and the car's hood is now in danger. See how he has to do. Final meters, last 2 laps. Let's see how long this bodywork lasts, and it's really thrilling to watch the end of the race as Fabian Gianantuoni can't do anything else but put in all the pressure he can and waits for the bodywork of Pesini to collapse. Black Cupra going through turn number 9 and 10 in this last stakes. Turn number 12 now for the Cupra. Gianantuoni wants to go through the inside, and we'll see if this is affecting the braking temperature, the brakes temperature of Pesini, who is now about to open the last lap of the race, and it will be a thrilling last lap in Termas de Río Hondo. Fabrizio Pesini trying to withstand in the lead of the race with the shaking bodywork. Fabrizio Pesini hopeful of a winking eye of destiny in his favor. And the black Cupra resisting in the last meters of the race. Leonel Pernía set to arrive in third. Fabrizio Pesini now having Gianantuoni right on his shoulders, and it's the last effort for the bodywork of the Cupra that will start shaking as soon as the car catches speed in the straights. This is the last lap of the race in this event number 4. Race number 2 is about to come to an end. Pesini's wife is suffering as the hood is set to come off, and it's really dangerous now. Yeah, the curse is obvious, and Gianantuoni goes into the lead. Fabian Gianantuoni goes into the lead of the race. We'll see how long Pesini can resist, at least to hold on to second place. And the luck has played in favor of Fabian Gianantuoni. who goes into the lead of the race in the last lap. It will be another win for Paladin Racing, as the eyes are now rolling in the garage of W2 Pro GP. The bodywork collapsed, and now Pecini will try to resist. Leonel Pernía could have a double podium now with his team, with him and Piquet. Pecini now resisting in second position, but it's very, very dangerous because he has no visibility at all. And Leonel Pernía could overtake him. There is Leonel Pernía going through, and Piquet will do so the same, as Fabian Gianantuoni will now get into the last lap, into the last turns. And it will be a big, big strike of luck for Fabian Gianantuoni, who wins race number 2 in Termas de Río Hondo. Double podium for Honda YPF Racing with Leonel Pernía and Nelson Piquet Jr. Pecini has to arrive in 4th after having led in fantastic shape most part of the race. Disaster for W2 Pro GP in the last meters. Here's our winner, Fabian Gianantuoni. Argentiniano has won the race in the TCR trophy. Here is Fabian Gianantuoni. Our race winner. Celebrations unleashed on the radio comms. And we'll have a look at the final standings. Fabian Gianantuoni won the race ahead of Leonel Pernía. Nelson Piquet Jr. in 3rd. Fabrizio Pecini in 4th, Mariano Pernía in 5th, Pedro Cardoso in 6th, Gennaro Rassetto in 7th, Thiago Pernía, Rafael Reis, and the TCR Trophy winner Adrian Chiriano in 10th place. Ahead of Enzo Gianfratti in 11th place, Marian Incoter in 12th, and Ezequiel Bastidas in 13th. Luis Ramirez and Juan Angel Rosso could not finish the race. Here's Fabian Gianantuoni celebrating the win. Here is our podium with the Lincoln Co in the win and the 2 Hondas. With the fishing rod, Leonel Pernía grabs more and more points round after round. Mauricio Pesini really frustrated after what happened in the last lap. It's heartbreaking.
Estamos con Fabián Gianantuoni, ganador de la carrera 2 aquí en el Gran Premio DirecTV Ocasa. Patito, qué linda carrera al final. Pudiste aprovechar, ¿no?, el inconveniente de Pesini para pasarlo.
Bueno, sí, buenos días, la verdad que feliz. Terma me trata bien. He tenido la oportunidad de ganar muchas veces acá. Y bueno, circuito que me encanta. La verdad que creo que fue clave la largada para nosotros. Pudimos quedar segundo ahí en 3 curvas. Lo corrí las primeras vueltas a Pesini, no pude, y después la verdad que él tenía mucho más ritmo. Nosotros tenemos algunos kilos de la carrera pasada y creo que eso dolieron. Pero bueno, sobre el final él tuvo un problema, vi que le vibraba el piso y empecé a apretar y bueno, hasta que la última vuelta tuvimos la oportunidad de pasar la punta. Una lástima por Fabricio, creo que había hecho todo bien. Pero bueno, son las carreras, estoy feliz por todo el equipo. Todo el Argentinier Racing, que realmente viene haciendo un trabajo fantástico desde que hemos recibido estos links. Siempre el trabajo ha sido para mejor. Y nada, los resultados creo que estaban al llegar. Tuvimos mala suerte las primeras fechas, pero hoy la verdad que estamos bien.
La palabra de Fabián Gianantuoni, ganador en la carrera número 2 aquí en el Gran Premio DirecTV Ocasa.
We will head into the podium shortly. And here is our podium with the Honda drivers and the Lincoln Co. of Fabián Gianantuoni. Argentinian anthem now playing. Argentinian anthem playing in tribute to our winner Fabián Gianantuoni. Trophies for Nelson Piquet Jr. Trophies for Piquet, for Pernía, and for Fabián Gianantuoni. And now it's time for the champagne.
Vamos a la foto. Se retiran ya los otros dos pilotos y lo dejamos a Nelson Piquet Jr. que se va a quedar con el premio. El driver of the weekend by Ademi Con, que entrega Talo, el director del museo.
Trophies being handed.
Sube al primer fin de semana para él. Y en instantes vamos a recibir a los pilotos de la Copa Trophy también. Va a entregar los premios.
This is Nelson Piquet Jr., the driver of the weekend. And we'll move now on to the TCR Trophy podium also.
Vamos a empezar a recibir a los pilotos de la Copa Trophy. Les pido un fuerte aplauso para ella, para María Nicoter, que sube a la tercera posición.
Marianne Encotter in third place of TCR Trophy. Ahead of her, it's Enzo Gianfratti.
Muy fuerte aplauso para el vencedor, el argentino piloto de Honda IPF Racing Team, Adrián Chiriano, que sube a lo más alto del podio.
And Adrián Chiriano, the winner of the round. Héctor Farina, the owner of the circuits, the director of the circuits, will hand in the trophies. Very, very nice weekend we've enjoyed in Termas de Río Hondo, and it's the wrap-up for Argentina in this 2025 season, as we'll now head into 2 rounds in Uruguay. Go to Mercedes in Uruguay.
Finalizado entonces el podio aquí, esta segunda carrera del Gran Premio DirecTV Ocasa. Muchas gracias a todos por venir a vivir esta carrera. Es un placer para la categoría visitar una vez más esta hermosa ciudad y este hermoso autódromo. Muchas gracias.
And we are wrapping up this weekend from Termas de Río Hondo, ladies and gentlemen. We're really grateful for your company. One more weekend in TCR South America. My name is Francisco Aure. Thanks a lot for being with us, and see you very, very soon.